Hello! Today we are going to learn how to paint a palm tree. So, first things that we're going to need: canvas, paint brushes, some water. We're going to use acrylic. Today we're using Da Vinci acrylic. So this is what we're using. Earlier I posted, some other pictures of the colors that we're going to be using today. I posted a little link where you can go on and go to their website, order some paints. You did great. Love these Da Vinci paints. So you can see I got a little setup going on over here. Got some paints going. Another really cool thing that I've been using a lot is a Stay Wet pad. It's actually a pad with a sponge under it. Really kind of cool. What it does is it keeps all the paint moist as you're working on it, so you're not wasting so much acrylics, because I squeeze out quite a bit. I'm going to re-wet my sponge right now. So this is got my bucket of paint here, this Stay Wet pad. So those are the things: some paper towels and coffee. All these things are very important. Now we can get started. Pencil.
We can wait a few minutes too.
Gonna need a pencil here to get going on the canvas. I'm using an 1824 canvas today. You can use whatever size you have available, whatever you like. You can use whatever paints you have available. Whatever you guys want to use is great. So I'm going to basically go step by step and show you how I personally paint a palm tree.
So since people are just joining now too, we can kind of go, just wait a second and go back through that too.
All right.
We just want to make sure that enough people join.
Oh, okay.
That no one's left out.
No one's left out, so people are just joining in. I can see people starting to post things. They're starting to...
Rebecca Gatto says she's painting with you.
Oh, awesome. So we've got brushes, we've got water. We're going to be working with acrylics today. Like I said earlier, the Da Vinci acrylics are what I'm using. We got some different size brushes. I have a whole bunch of things around here. But I tried to limit it down to a few things. So nice thing to have, some type of palette, whatever you want to use. If you want to use, a plate is great, piece of cardboard, whatever you want to use for a palette, just so you can squeeze the paints and mix them out.
And
like I
just
said,
let them know, Steve, that I'll be reading you questions if they have any while you're talking.
So if you guys have questions while I'm painting, please, I'll be painting here. We got Sweet Pea over here. There she is. She is going to be reading me the questions as they come through, so I can answer. So if you have some, please let me know. If I'm doing something that you're confused about, say something. I would love to have your comments so I can see how this works, and if you guys want me to do it again, maybe something else, I'm not sure. So if it's good response and people like it, I'll totally do it again. So when we go to get started, I'm using a Chinese marker. It's one of those little ones with a string on them. Pull them. I'm using this because you're going to be able to see it better. Not necessarily that you have to use them. I use them quite a bit. I like the way they draw. That, and I always forget my sharpener when I'm out at a show or something, and pull the string. So regular pencil's great. I used to use a lot of carpentry pencils, things like that. So whatever you have handy.
There's a request to see your palette, so maybe as you squirt the paint.
Okay, so I haven't haven't squirted it out yet, so I'm going to get ready to do that right now. But before we even squirt the paint out, we're going to do a drawing. We're going to start by drawing. So we don't need to get the paint going. First and foremost, we're going to do the drawing. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw a horizon line. Horizon line. You know, I'm using a little more sky than water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the land line that comes across like this. I'm going to throw a little island back here, like this.
Take your time too.
Little island going through. So now we've got the background started. Don't worry about this. Don't try and erase things saying, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like what Steve did. Don't worry about that because these are all going to be painted over. So it's going to change as we work through. So as we start, the drawing is just to get your hand used to moving and to take away from that big white canvas that we're looking at. So then the next line is one side of the palm tree. And then we go in the other side of the palm tree. We want a little fatter down here, a little thinner somewhere in the center. Like the coconut palms. We're going to throw a little shading on this. A little shading down here.
Maybe recap a little bit too.
So, one side of the palm tree coming down through, the other side coming down through, and then we're going to put a little shadow underneath. So the palm tree is sitting on land. Put a little shadow here. And then we're going to start putting the palm fronds in. There's one.
So go and review from the start just in case.
Okay, so if people are just getting in, the first thing we do, horizon line. Land, mountain, one side of the palm tree, the other side of the palm tree, and then we start putting the palm fronds in. We're just drawing the center of the palm fronds. There's 5 of them, and then we do is we come off the center with other little lines.
I can't move that. Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe move this a little bit closer.
Hold the iPad.
So we're drawing little green leaves coming off the center. Remember, palm trees have it on both sides. Nice wispy little palm fronds there. We're not worried about making things look perfect right now. This is just to get your idea of what we're going to do. This is all going to be painted over. I know people always get stressed like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing it the exact same way, or it doesn't look right. No worries. This is going to change dramatically. And I never trim my palm trees, so I leave a little dead one on there. Maybe another one back here needs to be trimmed. You can put your own little coconuts in, a couple coconuts. You know, whatever you want to do, we could throw it in there. So,
About 6 more people just
So
joined.
maybe give some time to catch up.
so looks like a few more people just joined in. So I'll recap real quick again. Horizon line, land, one side of the palm tree, the other side of the palm tree, the center of your palm fronds, and then you just draw your lines off. Pretty basic. Have fun with it. Don't worry about anything. We're going to paint over this in a couple minutes. So,
And remind them too that they can replay this afterwards if they get lost.
If
Or
you get-
just got here.
and if you just got here and you got lost and you just want to watch the whole thing go through first, you can replay it and paint later with it. So there's those options. There's different options that we can do. Just let me know how you like it. Should I do it again? things like that. So now that we have our sketch done on our canvas, we are going to start doing the paint. Maybe I can get Chad to show me to point out paint. So we're going to start with white.
Hold on. Take your time too.
Got some white paint here. We're going to make a little blob of white paint. All right, we got the little white. Throw it back over here in the pile. I'm going to go for the cobalt. What's that?
Cobalt teal.
Cobalt teal. I'll squeeze a little over there.
Did you just sniff your paint?
I did. I just sniffed my paint. See, it doesn't smell. It's not like oils. So, and then we got cobalt teal, and then we got the cobalt blue hue. So, there's our colors. That's what we're going to use for our sky and our water. Those are the colors right there. White, cobalt teal, cobalt. These other colors right here, we're going to use in a little bit. I'm going to limit the palette to just a couple colors, these three, so we're not making a muddy mess, because it's really easy to do that. We get the big brush that we have, the biggest brush that you want to use. I got this one right here.
We're gonna see if anyone has any questions before we...
Yeah, does anybody have any questions so far? Do you guys need anything, any advice on what you're doing so far? Please text me, let me know.
Just give us because there's a little bit of a lag.
Oh, there's a little bit of lag. Okay. Clean the brush.
We will probably do another paint class, and then this one will also be posted. So once this live recording's complete, it'll be posted on his Facebook too.
Got some paper towels so we can dab and clean the brushes. So dip our brush in water. We're going to start off with darker colors up top, and we're going to work them down slow, and then we'll have a dark color here, and then we'll work it through. So kind of watch what I'm doing. So I start off with a little bit of the darker cobalt. And see, if you guys notice that I'm not worried about to have a little other colors, I'm not worried about painting over my palm tree. That's why I said don't worry about it. We're covering it all up. See, I'm mixing a little bit of all the colors together right here.
You're going slow motion for me here.
There's mine.
Get the brush so we can get it moving. We're varying our colors slightly. So we started off with a darker cobalt up here. We got the cobalt turquoise here. And we're just bringing it down. We're blending the colors and bringing it down.
Do you have any suggestions for alternate colors?
What other colors are you thinking about? A sunset piece?
Or just that they don't have these paints?
Oh, just any blue and white. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yes. The tree was facing the direction because the camera was flipped. Let me flip it back for you. I'm sorry. Is that better? Are we back to normal? It's a mirror image on the iPad when you flip to the other camera. I didn't realize.
that better? My camera
Is
guy.
ultramarine blue okay for a cobalt?
Absolutely, yes. Ultramarine is fine. You know, any blues that you have.
You just want that gradient?
Yeah, you just want the gradient of the colors.
So why are you putting darker down there now?
Because I accidentally just hit it with my brush. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the camera. So
He was wanting to fade the lighter. Oops.
So we're gonna work it up through. Right now we're just concerned with getting the sky painted blue to get rid of that white. So we're gonna work it in.
I'm gonna move this over here, so just pause for a sec.
Okay.
Excuse me while I set this back up.
Is that better? Same angle?
Yep, back to normal.
Do you want to remind them if they do post this painting of their own with your hashtag and share it on their Facebook that they'll be in a raffle to win this painting?
So what we're gonna do is whoever posts their painting and mine and hashtag
Next Saturday, yeah, they hashtag Barton Paint Class, Steve Barton Paint Class.
if you hashtag Barton Paint Class next Saturday with yourself and your painting, you're actually going to go in a raffle and win this one.
An original.
An original 18 by 24. So, which is a lot of fun. You can kind of see I'm getting the gradients of the colors. I'm using two different blues. I mean, you can use whatever two different blues that you want to use. The turquoise color, depending on what the blues you want to do. Or you could just use blue and white. Whatever you have. There's nothing set in stone with this. I don't want you to have to go out and get paints if you don't need them. Whatever you got going on. I just like the Da Vinci paints that I've been using lately. I switched over to them a little while back because I really love the blending technique. You can blend with them. They dry a little slower than some of the other acrylics I've worked with, and I just enjoy that. It gives you a little bit more time because you guys know I used to do oils 100% of the time, and I just started traveling with acrylics, and I started liking different acrylics because I kept losing my paints every time I go to Hawaii. I'd get there and half my paints would be gone or my mediums, so it was really hard to travel with the oil-based paints. Maybe they've lightened up now, but now I'm all into acrylics.
Is there a technique that you need to use with your brush? A certain way you should, like X's or anything like that?
What I'm doing is little C's, kind of doing like this C, and then when I want to like transition to another one, I do like these little X's and kind of work my way up, and I do a little blending, and then so I want to go back and put a cloud in here, and I just kind of see the little C's, little brush strokes. Trying to make that blue, just that perfect little sky color with maybe just a whispers of some clouds.
How do you make the clouds?
I do like little C's like this. I do little C's. I blend like little. I go little C's, and then I flip it, and I keep the white side of the other ones.
Are you using just white paint to do that?
I'm just using just white to put those in. Because I'm using a... Does this help?
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm using a little bit of the white like this, and I'm just blending it in. Sometimes when I'm painting, I forget what I'm doing, and I forget to explain what I'm doing. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
The video will be posted to your page right after you're done. Someone's asking, so if you want to...
Yeah, so it'll
be saved and posted.
It'll be saved and posted, so you can do this again. Or you can see what I did. You can slow it down. You can do all kinds of things.
So they'll have all week to work on their paintings to post next Saturday for the raffle.
You'll have all week to do your stuff, to do the painting, to get it exactly what you want. Then you can post it for the raffle, and then someone's going to win this painting.
It will be reversed though,
Yeah, it will be the other way.
because the mirror camera. Something to think about next time. Or
Yeah.
consider at least. Because your rights and lefts are reversed.
Oh.
So
Well,
you're right-handed right now.
I'm
Oh,
right-handed?
wait, are you? Yeah. Yeah, you're right-handed in the
I
video.
got this hand over here, though.
No.
Yeah, that would be your right
So
hand in the video.
normally I'd be drinking coffee with this hand. Painting also. So it's perfect that way. So, does everyone have their sky in? This is where I'd normally walk around, check out what everyone's doing, see how they're doing it. Today, I don't have that opportunity. So, just give me some thumbs up or something. Let me know you're got the sky done. Whoever's working with me. Some thumbs. Oh, there's a thumb. I see a thumb. Oh, another one. Oh, cool. I got some thumbs. Nice. Okay, so are we ready to go on to the water? All right, so now for the water, we're going to start off with a little bit darker blue that we have. And we're going to draw that horizon line back in with it. And then we're just going to take and blend it down. Go back and forth. We're not using that C method like we did on the sky. Oh, I put a little of the other turquoise blue in there. See how we're getting that a little bit darker the further out, right against the horizon line. We're just blending it down.
Lewis is watching.
Oh, is he? That's awesome. He's in the. He tried to inspire me by sending me a picture of a palm tree earlier today.
Tried?
Yeah, well, he did. Thanks, Bob.
Keith wants to know if it'll be wavy when it's raffled off, but no, yeah.
No, probably not. Okay, so we're going back and forth.
Talk a little more about the technique here.
So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of blending, and I'm getting all that, the water, and see what so I came from dark down to light, and then I'm going dark again, and I'm going to go light and dark. So the closest thing to you is going to be the most light and dark. So now I'm putting a little bit more of the blue. I'm kind of making the colors of the water, the different blues, vary through. And I'm coming all the way down. See, I'm not worried about that painting over the line of the ground here because we're going to paint that back in after. Does this help with my palette up like this so you can kind of see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Someone here did it.
Perfect. Okay. So we got that in, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little bit darker because remember we got that shadow in here earlier, and it would actually shadow on the water too, a little bit of the blue. So we got the shadow of the palm tree on the water. Dabbing my brush, cleaning it a little bit.
What do you thin your paint with?
I'm just thinning my paint with water today.
Because it's acrylic.
Because it's acrylic, it's water-based. There's some other mediums that you can use, but for all intents and purposes today, water is just perfect. I mean,
Roy just joined.
I have other mediums that I use. There's a thinning glaze material, which is great. And then along the edge of the water line, we're just gonna take white and just kind of dance it along the edge, just like that.
Roy joined.
Hey Roy, I'll see you next week. So we're just going to paint it in there. You know, let's make a little, you know, because when the ocean hits the land, it gets that foam. So we're trying to create that feeling of foam. Very quickly though. I mean, the whole idea of this painting class is just to inspire you guys to paint, to get going, to learn a couple different techniques that I do. But mostly it's just for you guys to start moving and start moving the brush to the canvas. And everybody's palm tree is going to be different. Everyone's water is going to be different. And that's what's going to be fun about next week when you post them. You'll actually see everyone else's piece. And you know, we're all starting with the basic things, the basic colors, white, blues, turquoises. So we're starting with that, but everyone's going to put their own feel into it. And that's what's exciting for me to teach, because I actually get to see what you guys do. Okay, so we've got the water in. We've blended it out nicely. So we've got the sky, we've got the water, and the next step is the land.
What do you say to anybody who's getting overwhelmed right now, thinking that it's not looking good?
If you're getting overwhelmed right now, breathe. Have a cup of coffee, glass of wine, whatever you want to do. And kick it back. And don't keep going. Keep having fun with it. If you're having fun, that's the most important part. And then try it again later. But finish up with me, because you want to be able to post it so you can win the painting. All right, so we're going to a yellow ochre. And if you don't have yellow ochre, burnt sienna, a yellowish brown color, something we can do with this. All right, so we're putting a little of that on right there. You guys see that? Boom. Put it on there.
If someone wanted to try and mix that color, what would they do?
Use browns, a little bit of yellow and white, and you'll get this color. We're close to it. Close enough for what we're doing. Okay, set that back in the pile. We rinse our brush off. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Tap, tap, tap. Got the brush, it's all clean. Everyone caught up? Everyone getting ready for the land? Give me some thumbs up.
Give it a second. We haven't heard you yet.
Almost. We're getting ready.
Alright, see, there, wait.
Oh.
There's a heart, there's a ball.
Oh, thumbs. Hearts and thumbs. All right. So I'm going to get started now. All right. So we're taking the yellow ochre, and I'm just dipping a little bit to thin out my paint, and I'm painting it right on the edge here. So I'm going over a little bit of the water edge, because I'm not going to try and like paint right around the edge like this. We're not worried about that. We can go back in later. So we want to blend it so we don't have that sharp line. We want to just keep covering it up, blending it over. We're going to mix a little bit of white in there to lighten this up just a little bit. We're going to go for that white sand beach.
How do you spread that paint on there, just horizontally?
Horizontally. So just think land. It's flat. You know, we just go back and forth. We'll add a little texture into it near the end, but right now we're just thinking of how sand is. And usually sand by the edge of the water is pretty flat because the water washes up, flattens it out, pulls it back, washes up. So this wall right through here is a really nice flat edge. I'm gonna have to go down a little bit with my palette here. Here, I'm gonna rearrange some things here. Does that work? All right, one hand on the palette, one on the brush.
That's like old school.
What's that?
Old school. How people used to hold their palettes.
Yeah. I got a little paint and bottom here. I've got, you know, years of paint built up on the edge here. So I'm just putting it in, getting it all painted in.
What's your like white to yellow ratio, whatever that color is?
White to yellow ochre. Oh, it's kind of. Sorry about that. I don't know the exact ratio. Dab, dab, touch.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Mom just called.
Yes, you declined your mom.
Yes, I declined my mom.
Oh,
She's trying again.
Answer on that one next time.
I can't answer it.
Maybe have Deborah call my mom. She called twice in a row.
Jay said, Steve is helping out all the little people. Even I can do it.
Perfect. Are you painting?
I don't believe Jay's painting.
I don't believe Jay's painting either.
Jay, if he shows his painting, then we'll believe him.
She probably wants help to watch the video.
Okay. So we've got the sand, sky, water, sand. So we have our canvas completely covered. So there's no white showing whatsoever. I'm rinsing off my brush. Little dab. This is out of the way. Put this back here. Paint squeezing tube. Also wonderful. Multifunctioning tool. So, is everyone caught up with this? Give me some thumbs up. All right. So it looks like we got a couple thumbs going on. A couple more. Nice. Does anybody else have any questions at this point? Is everyone scared that we're gonna paint a big palm tree across their brand new pretty sky.
There now.
There's just a lag. I can't.
So,
Wait for it.
waiting. So our next thing is we're going to take a color and bring it right down through the center of our painting. And that's going to be our palm tree. We're going to go with a raw sienna. We're going to put it over here next to our yellow ochre. And then we're going to go get a little alizarin crimson. And we'll put it in right there. So the two colors we just put on.
So all you're gonna need.
All we're going to need for the palm tree right now. Oh, you know what we're going to do too? A little phthalo, a little darker the phthalo blue. Or Prussian blue or something like that. What we're going to do is we're going to mix up a deep brown purple. So those are our colors. Alizarin crimson.
Richard Bowling says your sky looks better than mine.
Well, I've been doing it for I watched the YouTube video earlier. Alizarin crimson and a dark blue. I'm using a phthalo. Use whatever you have for a dark blue. And we're going to mix these two and make a nice purple. And then we're going to highlight it with that darker brown.
Take it slow. People gotta look back and forth on their screens and stuff.
Clean our brush. Get it all nice and clean.
What size brush is it? Still the big one?
Actually, I'll switch over because it'll be easier with a smaller one. Go down a size in the brush. We were using this, we're going to go to this size brush. We put that one in the paint bucket. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a little of this blue and a little of that, and we're mixing it together. So we're making a really reddish purple. More red than purple. So we're mixing these two together. Got a nice, deep, rich purple.
And what three colors are those?
Those are alizarin crimson, the phthalo blue, and burnt sienna. Raw sienna. Sorry, raw sienna. Burnt sienna is a little darker. So what I tried to do is limit the palette of colors and make it as simple as possible to do a quick little painting like this. We could have gone down to a few lesser colors, but I like paint, so any excuse to get new tubes. All right, so here's how we start. We're ready?
Where do we start? Top of the palm tree?
Stop of the palm tree. And we're drawing that outside line again.
And is it okay if it's not a perfect line, straight line, width line?
No, don't worry about the perfect straight line. Absolutely. Because it's going to change as we go through. So, a curved line, here you go. There, I made mine a little more curvy. We don't have to worry about straight. Because a palm tree doesn't grow straight in nature. It's all over the place. So we get that in. Everyone good there? Everyone excited about their palm tree?
Someone wants to know if you can still see your lines from earlier.
A little bit. You still can see a little bit of them. You have to look at them.
What if you can't?
If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't follow the lines. Don't stay within the lines. And then so what we're doing is we're going back in and we're doing a little bit of that half C. And we're just, see?
What color is that?
This is the raw sienna. Just pulling it right over the top. And then when it starts bleeding out a little bit and starts getting a little clouded, wipe your brush off.
Let me get a close up on what you're doing here.
Okay.
So explain that again.
So what we're doing is I'm taking the tip of my brush right here, and then we go back. Dab, dab.
Why are you doing that?
That is to give it that feeling of round effect. And then we're going to go back in with a little bit of the white color, little white, and we're going to highlight this side of the palm tree. Not a continuous line. See, I'm breaking it up. And see, I went and broke it up with a little bit of the yellow ochre. We're using the flat side of our brush. See how we're doing that? And then we do this. And just kind of bring a little of that through. And then what we're going to do too is we're going to add a little bit of clean our brush off, go back to that dark color, and we're going to make the dark side of the palm tree, the line going down through. Did you guys see that? Light side of the palm tree, dark side, because this is the side that's going to cast our shadow down here.
So that's where the sun would be hitting, right?
The sun's coming down from this side.
Set this down again real quick.
The sun's coming from here, hitting this side of the palm tree, casting a shadow down this way. So I've determined that my sun's coming from here.
Chad's hand is coming in, and I say that again, the light source.
The light source is on this side right here, coming down through, hitting this side of the palm tree. This side's the dark side of the palm tree, and then we're going to put a shadow down here on the ground. So picture this paintbrush as a sun ray hitting and then continuing down. It gets stopped when it hits the side of the tree, so then it casts a shadow. Cleaning our brush off a little bit. We're taking burnt sienna and alizarin crimson and mixing it together.
What would those be? A dark brown and a light?
Yeah, a darker brown and a red. If you don't have those exact colors. And then so what we're doing,
You said over here. Not using. Oh.
What was that?
Water.
that was a little too much water in the palette. So I'm painting the shadow because if you have a palm tree, if not, it was just floating there in the air and it's floating on the beach. With a shadow, it lands the object to the sand, to ground it. It's grounding the whole thing. We talked about it earlier. Remember we were talking about
Why are you doing a bunch of lines?
I'm doing a bunch of lines down here because we're actually going to add some foliage over here. My flowers, all the other things. So I'm just doing a little bit of a preemptive strike on what I'm going to do with my bush over on this side. We got our palm tree. So how are you guys doing? If you have any questions. And so the closer to the bottom of the palm tree, the darker the color. And then it all varies out. So we got a little bit darker here because we want to darken the corner. Kind of pulls your eye in. Okay, I'll clean my brush. Got my bucket of water, clean it out really good.
Someone's like, this isn't Bob Ross.
Happy tree.
There you go. Remember that? Isn't that what he used to do?
You'd flick it on the side?
Yeah, he'd go. So, from there, we're going to go back to that dark blue. And we're going to paint in our shadow the way the palm tree would shadow on the water.
Is there a reason you do that before you do the fronds on it?
The what?
The fronds before you put the fronds on it?
Before I put the fronds on? Well, we're just transitioning from the blues. The reason why I'm doing this here, because then we're going to go with a little bit of the phthalo blue, and we're going to start painting those dark lines in. But we're using some blues, and I want a little of this blue to come up on the top, so I'm not worried about it being in my brush. Okay, so we go back, and then we go straight to the phthalo blue, dip a little bit of water.
What would that be if it was different paints?
A different blue, it could be a Prussian blue, it could be any darker blue that you have.
Like
A royal blue.
What brand brushes do you use?
The ones I'm using right now are Dick Blick brushes, the blue ones.
Yeah, they probably just have numbers.
Yeah, they just have numbers on them and stuff. I mean, any synthetic brush works. I just like these. I think they were running a special last week, so I bought a bunch. Got a whole stack of them over here.
Tom Pizzi said it's always good to see you doing what you do best.
In the talking. Okay, so we got the blue.
Okay, wait, real quick.
Okay.
So the shadow would run into the water and not down the beach to the right.
It would run down to the beach and then hit the water, because we want it to feel like it's this light source is coming down, and then so the palm fronds would be out here more. So when we start painting those in, we're going to follow them right down. Here, Chad, grab me that painting I have over there. I'll kind of give you an idea of what.
This one?
Yeah. So.
Someone said, I hope Mrs. Denham is watching.
Yeah.
She'd be so proud.
Oh, that'd be cool. So
Is there a shadow on there?
here's a palm tree painting I did. So, and then the way the light's coming through on this one, it's lighting from here and it's going backwards. So it's a little different from what we're painting. Actually, this is confusing.
Yeah, do a different one.
Never mind.
So
We'll
the
get it.
sun,
That's like a
the
nice
sun is here.
The sun is here. It's coming down. This hand right here is the sun. It's a sun hand. Literally a sun hand.
Oh, yeah.
The sun's hand.
So
Once you get the fronds in there, it'll probably make more
yes,
sense.
makes more sense. Do we have? Yeah, that.
You don't have green out.
I don't have a blue palm tree one.
What do you need?
No, I'm good. So we're using the the dark blue, and we're drawing the center in. Remember those lines that we drew earlier? We're going to paint them back in now. And we're going with the darker blue. So this is a palm tree that went through a hurricane. It's just the fronds.
Someone said, I'm so glad I made it to class.
So we got a few palm fronds up there. So everyone get caught up with that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of the medium yellow. This is your medium yellow color. We have our lighter yellow, which is here. We're going with the medium. Medium first, light after. Medium, light. So we're going to take some of this medium yellow. It's cadmium yellow medium. If you got these, or something to that effect. Squeeze out a little paint. And if you only have one yellow, that's fine too. Because we can always mix it with white and lighten up the yellow.
And what would you mix to make it darker and more medium? If it's a light yellow already?
If it's a light yellow, you want to mix it with a touch of your red. And it's a primary color, so it's hard to adjust. But if you want to just do a little bit darker in that, we're going to mix it with our blues right now. So you're not going to be too worried about it, then we'll just adjust it with some white. So if you have any questions with that, let me know as we go through it.
Michael John wants to know if there is any way to watch a rerun of this.
Absolutely. There will be a rerun. I will post this to my Facebook. When I say me, I'm actually meaning Sweet Pea is going to take care of posting all that stuff. And make sure it's done right. So you guys can watch it over again. But make sure you watch it, paint a palm tree, post it next week, and then you get to win what I'm painting. Hashtag. What am I hashtagging?
Steve Barton paint class.
Steve Barton paint class. Hashtag Steve Barton paint class.
Rebecca said hearts from St. Augustine. She's following along.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right, so we're going with the yellow and the darker yellow and the darker blue. So we're making a nice green right here. We're using this and this. So whatever color you use to paint these in is what we're using with the darker yellow, or whichever yellow you have. Basically, we're using yellow and blue to make a green. And then we're going back in and we're painting.
Try and keep your hand, it's like blocking it. I don't know if you can move it at all. Cool.
You want to just tell him what you did?
Is that helping?
Yeah, tell them what you're doing though.
So what I'm doing is, remember we drew those lines down, and so now we're going back in, and so we can paint the palm frond leaves. So where palm fronds, the palm trees, they got the center, and then they got the lines that come down off the side.
The blades.
The blades. And both sides have them. So we'll do that. Come in with this.
So is one side darker than the other?
One side will be darker than the other. As we work through it, I'll show you with remember that light source we were talking about, that hand up here, that was the sun? And as it comes down through, I'll show you how we highlight it out. So right now, we're just trying to get the shape down, and then we're going to go back and highlight. So as we're painting in,
Are you still using a flat brush?
I'm still using that same brush. We haven't got the detail brush out yet. We're just keeping it very simple. You know, we're just working with that one. If you want to use a round one, you can. You want to use a bright, that's fine too.
So why do you double up on it like that?
Why do I double up on the palm? Because palm trees have this centerpiece, and then there's leaves going one way, and then there's leaves going the other way. The little, what are they called, fronds?
The blades coming off?
The blades. The blades go, there's a center, and then the blades go both directions. So we're going to try, instead of just going one way with it, then we cross hatch it and go the other way. And then like this one, we're going one way up, and then we're going to go on the other side and go up like that. And I'm jumping around a little bit just because it's kind of how I do things. I'm not very one after another. I bounce from here to there. On a normal painting, I would be all over the place. I'd be putting things over here, but I'm trying to stay consistent for you guys. I'm really working hard at it, and go step by step. I personally have a tendency to know the direction of the end result, so I jump back and forth, going like this all the way through. It's a little different.
Good thing you can rewatch it.
Yes. Trying to break it down. Am I doing okay by breaking it down?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're mixing in. Okay, so we're going back, and I'm going to more just yellow, more yellow than blue. We have mostly blue up here with a little bit, so we're going to it lighter now. Mix in a nice color like that.
And that's going to be for the highlight.
This is going to be starting the highlights. The mid-tones in our painting. We got the darks, we're going to the mid-tones. And then we're just going back in and taking some of those, at least not all of them, the ones that are on this side, and Chad, can you
We get a close up.
get a close-up on this so I can kind of show people what I'm doing?
Mike Hoger said this is very cool. A very cool event. Steve, thanks for doing this.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Call me for coffee. See how we're going back in? We still got that center. Goes right through here. Remember, we painted it in. Hopefully this helps out with a little bit closer to what I'm doing. All right, so the leaf is here, hits here with the sun, and then it passes on down through. So we're going to do the same thing on this one. And we don't have to paint all of them with the lighter yellow. because we want some of them to be dark, so it gives it that feeling.
Dimension.
Because of the dimension of the two different, the front and the rear of the palm tree. Did that help out? Hopefully you guys see the way I'm doing it. Give me some thumbs up, so I know I'm, if there's anything else I need to do for you guys. Everyone's pretty quiet right now.
That close up helped. That was good.
So we're just painting in. We go back and forth. It needs to be fuller a little bit. And then I'll show you guys a couple tricks that I use later. If you feel like you got your palm fronds too filled in, totally have been there, done that a few times. So I'll show you how to pop in highlights in between. So as we're going through our painting, are we still having fun? I mean, that's the most important to this whole thing. Having fun with the palm trees. I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit. Going back in, hitting a little of the yellow, and we're just think about the way the light would be hitting the palm tree. On a nice sunny day, hits the top edge of these. It doesn't go all the way down through. This is where that lighter color comes in nicely. Some white and a little of that lighter yellow. And we just highlight a little bit. Just a touch here and there. We don't want to go too much with this. We're just highlighting. Giving it that glisten of sunlight. Is that helping?
They gave you a thumbs up.
Cool. And I'm kind of moving still pretty fast because, you know, I want to be able to get it done. You guys can also go back, watch it again, and not necessarily. And the end result is you see how I do it. You see the direction we need to go into, the steps, and then rework your palm tree. Have some fun with it. Look at it. Maybe try another one.
Mike, text you and said speak up.
So what we want to do is get the highlights done. We got the highlights on the palm tree. We got that going on. We've got, now what we're going to go back to is we're going to do the shadow where these will be coming down through and hitting the edge of the palm tree. So,
Okay, close for that.
yeah. So we're going to that small brush that we talked about earlier.
Would you call it a detail brush?
A detail brush, right here. So we hit there, and then so I'm going into that darker color Well, we're gonna, depending on the palm tree.
So what are those?
These are actually where the palm fronds will come down and hit. This is the shadow from the fronds hitting the edge of the palm tree. We're going to do a little detail up through here. I'm going to paint a dead frond in. Paint one over here just to kind of fill out the bottom of the palm tree.
Your impression is painting, right?
Yes.
So that's it's your evaluate, or what is the word?
So
Your
what I'm doing now,
It's not going to be realistic.
it's not going to be realistic. No, not at all. It's an impressionistic of a painting. So we clean all that dark out of our brush. Go back to white and a little of the yellow ochre. And we just highlight this just a little bit. And then we're going in between some of those darker colors that we put on. And just give it a little. There, does that help? Kind of see where you get the dark and the light. The palm frond hits, casts a shadow. We work the lights and the darks. We go dark, then we go light, we go dark a little, go back and forth to give it the effect that we want. So now that that's pretty close to being where we want, we're going to let that sit, dry up a little bit up top. We got our trunk that we were working on. We go back to our mid-size brush. Mid-size brush is right here. And I'm going back to the darker blue. And I'm going to start painting in some of my foliage down below. The flowers that I paint. So we're going to paint over the bottom of this a little bit. Can you guys see what I'm doing okay?
Which color are you using for that?
I'm using the dark blue. The dark blue that we used to start off the bottom of the underneath the palm frond leaves here. So we start with the dark color.
You should have had music on.
We could do. And then so we're just putting those in.
What kind of, like are you doing a C shape or?
Yeah, and I'm just kind of doing
sporadic?
kind of sporadic. I'm not worried about the shape of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of painting a bush. Did you guys get that? Those are the brush strokes. Slow motion. Okay, so we got at the bottom. Kind of went like this. So we'll get the darker color in. So from there, we go back and we go with the yellows, and we're just putting a couple brush strokes on. We're not covering up a lot of that stuff. We're just throwing it in.
Someone said educational and entertaining on that one.
So we're just throwing a couple of the highlights. We've got our green foliage in. Rinse our brush. We go to that cadmium red, bright red, orange if you want, pink, whatever color you want your flowers. I'm using cadmium red light. Squeeze it out there. So and I'm going to take a little, I've kind of infected my red, my darker red with my blue, so I kind of made a mess up here. It's just all kind of blended together. So I am just going to do a little dab right next door to it. Not a whole lot, just a little. So I'm going to start with a darker red, and maybe I can get Chad to come in and you can do a close up. So when I get this started, you guys ready? I'm starting with a little bit darker color. Bring it in. And then I go back in with a little bit of the bright red. Now, if you guys don't have reds and you have pinks or whatever other color that you want to use, if you want to use blue flowers, here I'll show you how you do a blue flower. Same way. You start with a darker and you go lighter. So if we're going to say for example, you want a blue. We go with a little bit darker. Then we go with a lighter blue. And then we just highlight it with a little bit of the white.
Steve Barton.
So you can do whatever you want, whatever colors you want. And then you can go back in and just highlight things out. And just kind of pop them in. So we're doing this, and you got the little highlights of everything. So we're going back in with that lighter yellow that we talked about earlier. If you don't have the lighter yellow, go with yellow and some white. Mix it together, and then you got the little lighter yellow that you need just for the highlights. And then we're just kind of playing with it a little. You know, everyone can do this differently. I'm just dabbing, a couple dabs here. I like the dabs because it gives it that little bit of, you just hit slightly with your hand and pull up, and it gives it that little bit of a little feel to it. And that was one of the reasons why I like the Da Vinci paint so much. It gives it really nice thick texture. It's got a nice quality density of a paint. It holds up good. The viscosity, right? Did I say that right, guys?
Viscosity.
Viscosity of the paint is really great. See, I'm just putting that in there. And if you don't want to, if you want to use white on the centers, you can do that too.
Jan said, thanks, Steve. It was so fun to paint with you.
Oh, thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you guys want me to do this again. Maybe next time what I'll do is I'll do a, once we get this one all finished up, we'll do one where I'll do a sketch ahead of time. And we can practice that a few days in between. And then we can have some fun with the paint. I wish I could see all you guys' paintings as you're doing it, which is kind of the fun part for me. But you're totally going to post them. Hashtag Steve Barton Paint Class. And then you get to win this one. And a chance to win this one. Because there might be more than one, unless there's just one of you guys out there.
Yeah, only one post.
If only one posts, then you got to
Only
really
one
get...
person's brave enough to post.
So, it's kind of... Is there only one person out there watching this? Just one? So far, you're 100% winner? So...
Alicia said my painting is going to make you nervous.
I highly doubt that, sis. Maybe.
Yeah, to clarify that was your sister.
That was my sister, I'm sorry. Civil rivalry there, you know.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix this angle right now because the iPad's falling over, so.
Oh.
You said civil rivalry, but I think
Civil.
you said sibling.
Sibling. All right, coffee break.
Why is this falling over right now?
Was it falling over? Is it going down?
The iPad's just not standing.
I gotta do this.
Technical difficulty.
There we go. We will get this worked out. How's that? Does that work? That works. So, let's recap. We've got the highlights of the palm fronds. We've got the flowers going on. We've got our beach here. Now what we're going to do is squeeze a little white out right here. And we're going to paint the foam of the water here. So,
Vicky R said this was so fun, and then Jacqueline Britton said, Mom and I are listening.
oh, awesome. All right, we're just going to go, we're going to dance a little bit of that. The blue and the white, mostly white, just a tinge of blue, but mostly white. And what we're going to do is we're going to create that the feeling of the water coming in and hitting the shore.
He thought we were taking the class. He thought you were taking us.
Oh, really? See how we got the little water line in there? And then we go back to that little detail brush. And we go with a little bit darker of the blue and just kind of throw a couple lines right through here. So we're just throwing a few in there just to keep it going. So you can play with this a little bit longer. You guys can have some fun with it. It's been an hour and 20 minutes for you guys. I know it's a little bit longer, but look how much we got done. I mean, we got a really cool palm tree. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff here. And please post it, share it.
You'll be saving it, but I'll be posting more throughout the week.
I'll-
about
I'll-
the raffles.
I'll be posting more about the raffle stuff throughout the week. Give me some thumbs up if I inspired you to paint and you enjoyed it. I really had a wonderful time being able to do this with you guys. I don't get to paint very much with a bunch of people, and to be able to share it and enjoy it, it means a lot to me. Hopefully you guys can come in, see me at some of my shows, say hi to me, but also please post what it is. I am dying to see what you guys painted. And
Vicky said she learned she is not an artist.
oh, come on, Vicky.
Where are you going to be this next week? Maybe if anyone's in.
Yeah, if anybody is in Hawaii, I'll be at Roy Tabora Gallery. I will be over there, and then the week after that, I'll be at the Bill Weiland Gallery.
That's next week, right?
That's next week. I leave here, today's Saturday, so I leave Thursday to head over there. We'll be heading over, finishing up some paintings. But please, post your stuff, share it, and most thing is have fun doing it. I really want to thank you guys, and so we'll do one last thing. We'll show the bunny, because he's underneath.
What's that?
He's underneath the cage.
Here you go. I'll get a shot at your palm tree.
All right.
Janet said, "This was awesome. My first time painting. Thank you so much."
Me and Diesel signing off. Appreciate painting with you guys. And so let me know, share, and really enjoy painting with you guys. Thank you.
And the awkward sign off where you can't find where the button is. Over here.
And we're posting and